hear all the beeping? It's for me. Why? This right here. Texas plates. When you're in Minnesota with Texas plates, everybody thinks you're ice. I'm just trying to get some food. This is what I got to deal with.
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey, everybody. Good evening and welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host, Biddy, and I'm here along with my co-host, Dee. What's up, Dee?
Hi. How is everyone doing tonight?
Yeah, man, it's Monday. Everybody, I mean, if you were off today, you had spent the day chilling. If not, I'm glad you're home and you got through your Monday, and hopefully you're chilling with us. If
Yes.
you'd like to follow the show, you can on X, @AK. If you like, you can also follow us. You can follow me, Elizabitty213A, or you could also follow D @CynicalLatina. You could use the Q&R code at the top of the screen. Thank you, Ryan. That'll bring you right to our website, riseofmiddleamerica.com. Words.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
It's Monday. It's okay.
Yeah. I think I put on too much lip gloss too. My lips are like. Anywho. But yeah, we have a lot to get to. We have this huge story. Reporter who's in some big trouble. So why don't we get to it? Because I'm psyched to talk about this. All right. So coming to you from the New York Post. Trump's DOJ puts Don Lemon, yes, former CNN anchor host, on notice over joining anti-ICE mob that stormed a church. Frequently fired independent news commentator Don Lemon has been warned by the Justice Department over allegations he joined a mob of anti-ICE protesters who stormed a Sunday church service in St. Paul. Quote, "A house of worship is not a public forum for your protest. It is a space protected from exactly such acts by federal criminal and civil laws, nor does the First Amendment protect your pseudo-journalism of disrupting a prayer service." Harmeet Dillion, and that is she's serving as the U.S. Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division since 2025 in the Trump administration. And she said, "You are on notice," she wrote, noting in a follow-up post that the FBI has been, quote, activated, and accusing the protesters of, quote, desecrating a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers. Lemon, who has been documenting the increasingly violent protests following the shooting of Renee Good, entered the church with the agitators as the protest broke out and began filming the uproar. He dismissed calls for him to be prosecuted for joining in with the group and defended his actions as protected under the First Amendment. Quote, the MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true, Lemon said, claiming he had, quote, no affiliations with the organization, defending his actions as, quote, an act of journalism. Several dozen agitators burst into City's church on Sunday morning and began chanting, quote, ICE out, reportedly under the impression that the House of Worship's pastor, David Easterwood, is a member of the Federal Immigration Enforcement Agency, a notion that Lemon perpetuated in a post on left-wing echo chamber social network Blue Sky. There is indeed a man named David Easterwood serving as an acting ICE director of the St. Paul field office, but the Post could not independently confirm whether he was the same person who heads up City's church. Lemon interviewed the church's lead pastor, Jonathan Parnell, on camera, who called the protest shameful. Lemon fired back, listen, there's a Constitution and a First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest, he said. The former longtime CNN anchor dispensed with his ardent defense of free speech in a 2024 interview with Elon Musk, however, in which he pressured him to delete several, quote, hateful memes on X, which the world's richest man declined to do on the grounds they weren't illegal. So this is a really interesting story because, you know, what the leftists and, you know, these Marxists and the people that are promoting this kind of unrest in the country, they like to twist words around. We've said this oftentimes. I've heard you say, we always say this, that they're very good with twisting words around. They're also very good at using our rights that we have, the unalienable rights that we have in the Constitution, against us. So when he makes a video talking about things that are happening, maybe when he walks up on somebody on the street and he asks them questions, yeah, that's freedom of speech. However, when you storm a house of worship with a group, disrupting their, you know, what they're doing and intimidating them, what they're doing, now this falls under the FACE Act. Now you're getting into, you're breaking laws. And, you know, a lot of things that he was saying, like in the videos posted, like we're not going to show you, probably already seen them, but basically, you know, a lot of the times he said the word we, and he said, you know, where they're going, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to be able to tell you that, you know, what they're going to do, I'm not going to be able to tell you that. And it basically comes off as that he knows what's about to go down. He's encouraging it and letting them know that he's going to put them on the big screen. And he goes in there with them, and he starts, you know, pressuring the people inside who are just asking him to leave. You know, so churches, they're considered private property. So that, you know, even though the church services are open to the public, you know, you can walk in if you want to worship and all this other kind of stuff. But if the people inside that are running the organization tell you you need to leave, or if you're going in there to be disruptive and they ask you to leave, then you need to leave. They weren't leaving. They were disrupting the whole service. You know, families had to take their women and children out. You know, everything that's been going on, there's been a lot of violence that's been happening, especially to places of worship. So I can imagine how scared people probably were, because you never know how this kind of thing is going to turn, if they're just in there to yell and scream, or is somebody going to do something, you know? So I would have left as well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it was an act of hostility. It wasn't necessarily, oh, we're going to come in and protest. And I guess the motivation is that they thought that it was a, what was it, that they were supporting ICE or something. That like
the pastor was working with ICE and
something like that. And I think regardless if the pastor was working with ICE, they're not entitled to go into a building and protest into it. Like I think the just this idea that they can protest and do whatever they want. And obviously it wasn't just like, oh, we're going to go in there and be peaceful about it and have a discussion. They didn't want to have a discussion at all. That one dude that was just screaming at families and kids, and they're all scared. And also when Don Lemon decided to follow them in, even if he says, oh, you know, we were just tracking protests and we saw them and decided to tag along. When he went inside and he started doing his journalism, he was being very hostile, you know, like, well, don't you think that, blah, blah, blah. And the questions that he was asking were very triggering. Like,
like
because
about
they were
Jesus
like
and
attacking, the pastor's beliefs and thoughts. And, you know, I would have kicked his ass too. The good thing is that everybody inside the church just left, so they could sit there and screech all they want to. Nobody's going to listen to them. And so I think what they did was just really, really shitty. And you know, they ended up with egg on their face. And, you know, I just think that all the people that did that, I wouldn't say like throw them in jail or anything, because, you know, clearly I don't think that was a jailable offense, but I think they should fine the shit out of them, you know, like fine them and make sure that they understand that that's not something that they're allowed to do under protesting laws, you know. And I think it's time that they've gotten away with doing so much. Like, they've gotten away with it. They haven't had to pay any fees, nothing. That, you know, they have their billionaire or millionaire
yeah, and that's the
backers that are
thing.
funding
That's what
all
like
their
makes
legal
me
expenses.
feel like, I mean, yeah, the fining and stuff like that, but they don't care. They know even if they get arrested, they know they're going to be bailed out.
No
Probably some corrupt
consequences.
judge is going to dismiss the case or something. Like
Yeah.
everything is stacked in their favor, and that's why they're so damn brazen. It's not only
Yeah.
because there's no accountability. It's what kind of accountability are
Yeah.
the people that are doing this? Are they going to actually feel the proverbial pain, you know, of the financial burden or of having to do some time in jail? Like if you had to do 30 days behind bars for, you know, violating the FACE Act, would that then make you not want to be a part of this, no matter how much money is being thrown your way? Would that deter some people? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's weird. It's really pissing me off, because I know this is what this whole thing, what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is they are, like we always say, like Trump plays 5D chess. People always throwing that thing around. But these organizations, they're doing the same thing. They're playing chess as well. And they're trying to push us into a corner to where we want to go against our own rights as people in order to quell the disruption, you know, and it puts us in a really screwy situation. But there is, you know, I just kind of like looked up just to see like what laws are in place that journalists have to follow. They basically, there's no like one single journalist law. There's, you know, like code of ethics and different things like that, but they basically have to follow the same laws we do. And one of the things is contempt, obstruction, and interference. Journalists must not interfere with police operations. That's happening. Obstruct emergency response. Tamper with evidence or witnesses, or encourage illegal acts while reporting. Okay, so there's a lot of things that Mrs. DeLeon can pull from, and this is kind of like her wheelhouse. I mean, she's the civil rights. It's not just for, you know, Black people. It's for civil rights. It's very broad, and that can include people's right to worship, people's religion being, you know, persecuted, you know, people trying to come in and say, oh, you're not a real Christian because you're not protesting with us against ICE, you know, and all this other kind of stuff. Like, they're trying to push it in other directions. But yeah, so there's the FACE Act. There's also another thing that's been thrown around, and that's the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871.
That's what they're going to charge Don Lemon with, which is pretty funny, because as a Black man, he's going to be charged with the KKK.
Well, and like, if it happened today on MLK Day, it would be even crazier. But yeah. So like the 14th Amendment, it was ratified. So this was passed in 1871. The 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868. Defined citizenship, so that way they have like the base, you know, for everything going forward, and they have access to all the rights everybody else has, and guaranteed due process and equal protection of the law to all, including 4 million formerly enslaved Black men and women. Vigilante groups like the Ku Klux Klan, however, freely threatened African Americans and their white allies in the South and undermined the Republican Party's plan for reconstruction. The Ku Klux Klan Act made it a federal crime. Okay, so that changes it from the FACE Act, a misdemeanor, to a federal crime, to deny any group or individual any of the rights, privileges, or immunities or protection named in the Constitution. To enforce the law, the president could suspend habeas corpus, deploy the U.S. military, or use other means as he may deem necessary. So he's got, I'm telling you, dude's got people in the office all day, every day, just reading a ton of these legislation, like the details of everything. I'm sure Stephen Miller is up in there too, just like reading and dictating a lot of different things. And they're just all working together to make sure everything is covered. I do see an issue with like how the left is always trying to twist things around with going after a journalist too far, because, you know, you think of people like Nick Shirley, right? And what he did exposing the fraud in Minnesota, and what he continues to do, and I'm sure he's going to keep going with this. And he has to be on his P's and Q's as well. He has to make sure that what he's doing, if he's going to a public place, if they ask him to leave, if you refuse service to somebody, you can't demand to enter if they refuse you service. You know, you have to play ball a little bit, because you don't want them to point out and be like, no, but he's doing it. He's doing it. So we can do it. Like, you can't. Yeah. So we got to be really careful. But yeah, this is really wild. And I'm really interested to see if he does get charged with anything. I don't know if he'll do jail time, but maybe he will get fined, and, you know, maybe he will lose some credentials. I don't know. I don't
think you'll lose any credentials, because like you said, there's more, it's more like a code of ethics for journalists. They don't have to abide by anything aside from whatever your moral compass is. It's not like and it's not like, when you're a doctor that you have to take, what is it, the Hippocratic Oath? Mm-hmm. It's not like that. No, that's journalism is not like that. They basically, they're just going to do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. And then, and especially nowadays, they'll just claim that it's freedom of the press and freedom of speech and all this stuff, but it's really not. And since I'm studying mass media and I'm studying journalism, I definitely feel that there should be. You're supposed to report the news, the facts. If you want to write an opinion piece, you can, but even
it has to be labeled as such. Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised at how influential and how subtle some of the spin is in some of these articles. I focused on one in particular. I wrote a paper about it in school last semester, and my liberal teacher couldn't really argue with it, because it's so soft, and just the way that the verbiage and the way that they state facts influences your opinion on the whole story, and it's so subtle. So, I think that we should, if we're like, for me, if I decide to go into journalism, there should be an oath that you take to do good with your writing, that you can separate your hatred for whatever topic that is that you're writing about, to make sure that you're only delivering the facts. But even then, like, doctors go and do stupid shit, and they like, that's not going to stop someone that's evil from doing something evil. But this whole situation,
if they bring that back, that can quell a lot of this.
If they brought repercussions, if they brought actual accountability to people that are doing nefarious things, like it would be different, because that would be a deterrent to people that are going to do something, horrible with the power and the trust that they have. But like Don Lemon going in there and following these protesters. The protesters did something that it was terrible, and they did it with bad intentions. They went in there and they prevented people worshiping. They have a right to worship. So, when they say, well, we have the right to protest. Well, you don't have the right to take away someone else's right. And that's one thing that I have not seen mentioned by anybody, even when they were interviewing the pastor, the preacher. He didn't say that either. And I wished he really would have said that, these people have a right to practice their religion and worship. And one person doesn't get to come in and take away someone else's right, especially they went into the building. If they were just outside protesting, okay, maybe, maybe the people inside the building would have maybe gone out through the back or tried to sneak away, but they went up in their faces to yell at them because, first off, because they're pretty stupid. They thought, oh, they're affiliated with ICE. Their moral compass is not everybody else's moral compass. And the majority of Americans want these people deported. And they're impeding from violent criminals, and they're arresting so many that are committing like SA, and they're committing all this other stuff. And they're impeding that because, it's ICE. I'd rather have these horrible people out of the country than someone's feelings being hurt. Yeah. And you know what? If that person is a perpetrator of SA, I don't care about your rights. Get the hell out of my country. So
it's not a right for you to be here. It's a privilege. So
yeah, exactly. So, get the hell out, and I don't care,
Oh, just a little note, right? I totally agree. Just a little note right here. The head of this whole group, the one that was it looked like she was organizing and everything. She's a civil rights lawyer, which is comical. She's also a former Minneapolis NAACP president. And she's the one who helped Operation Pull Up, which is what they called this whole event at the St. Paul Christian Church. But, that's an organization there. There a lot of these people are tied to these organizations. And again, we have to be really, really careful with the way that we penalize people that are breaking these laws or impeding on other people's rights. But we just have to, I just think we just have to be very careful. And I believe that they are extremely smart, everybody that's around Trump, and, telling him, the different laws that are in place that protect the actions that we take. But let's just look at maybe somebody else that is in a position of power and what their take is and how they're going to be governing their state.
Yeah, so this one is going to be coming to us from CNN, or one of our favorite networks. So this is Abigail Spanberger. Abigail Spanberger becomes Virginia's first female governor in historic inauguration. This is great. So in Richmond, Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger was sworn into office as Virginia's first female governor amid a cold drizzle outside the state capitol, after centuries of men holding the Commonwealth's top office. So Spanberger, I drew a complete blank with that, Brian. I'm sorry. I got producer talking in my ear, and I'm just like, my brain is blank. Sorry.
I feel bad for Virginia right now. Oh my gosh.
I feel terrible for Virginia. This is horrible. So let me, before I get sidetracked. So Spanberger defeated Republican Winsome Earl Sears to succeed Governor Glenn Youngkin, also a Republican. It marks a new chapter in Virginia as Democrats pull the levers of power in state government while Republican President Donald Trump sits in the White House in neighboring Washington. The history and the gravity of this moment are not lost on me, Spanberger said in her address. I maintain an abiding sense of gratitude to those who work generation after generation to ensure women could be among those casting ballots who could only dream of a day like today.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, I hate women like this shouldn't be in office, but okay. Spangenberger ran on a vow to protect Virginia's economy from the aggressive tactics of Trump's administration. On the trail, she spoke of the White House gutting the civil service, rising costs of goods, and changes impacting the state's already fragile healthcare system. In a thinly veiled dig at the president, Spangenberger said it was time for Virginians to fix what was broken. I know many of you are worried about the recklessness coming out of Washington, she said. You are worried about politics that are hurting our communities, cutting healthcare access, imperiling rural hospitals, and driving up costs. 2 other Democrats were also sworn in. Ghazala Famishi, whatever. The first Muslim woman to serve in a statewide office in the U.S. Is the new Lieutenant Governor Jay Jones of Virginia's first Black Attorney General. So DEI cast, that's what we're getting over there.
Mm-hmm.
After the ceremony, Hashimi and Jones stood behind Spangenberger as she signed her first 10 executive orders. One of the orders rescinds Youngkin's directive from last year instructing state law enforcement and corrections officers to assist with immigration enforcement. So that tied pretty good to our first story.
Mm-hmm.
Local law enforcement should not be required to divert their limited resources to enforce federal civil immigration laws. Spangenberger's inauguration as the state's 75th governor is a historic first. Only men have held the post since Virginia first became a Commonwealth in 1776, and no woman served as a colonial governor before then. She will be referred to with traditional familiarity, Madam Governor, or some of officials phrase it, Her Excellency.
Oh, gosh.
That's so cringe. But, you know, I do apologize because, you know, apparently I can't read today, but I just think that's like already her first of 10 executive orders, and the first one is to say that they're not going to work with ICE. And I just don't understand how people like this keep getting voted in. Even the first what was it?
First female governor. Oh,
the first Muslim woman to serve statewide in the office is the lieutenant governor. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, why? We shouldn't have any Muslims in our government. And then second of all, Jay Jones, the first Black Attorney General, you know,
we're never going to run out the first of these people to exploit. Never.
No.
It'll be the first Asian person. It'll be the first Indian person. It'll be the first this, that, and the other.
It shouldn't be the first. Like that's not like a flex. That's like I said, like their DEI cast. I want the most competent person, you know, the person that's most knowledgeable. And like, for example, that one Indian dude that's in our is it our Congress? Is it the Senate?
Oh, I know.
Or is he a rep? I don't remember what his name is.
He always looks like a deer in headlights guy.
Yeah, he's such an Imrod, and he really doesn't understand our Constitution and our laws and anything. Like, how did he get elected? Like, I understand that people they go to college and then, you know, most of them are lawyers and they get into these positions, but there has to be like a general assessment if these people are. I don't know if they got straight C's in college. Like, they have to have a basic good understanding of how our government works, not just, you know, they're a certain skin color. Yay. I don't care about their skin color. I care if they're not going to be stupid and like burn down our government, you know?
Right.
So,
and understand economics and, you know, understand
exactly
the ins and outs of how to get things done. And yeah. And, you know, the people that do vote, because I think there's a lot of funny business still. I mean, they're still searching around and finding a lot of discrepancies in different elections. And I'm sure I don't know if that ever is really going to be found out in full. I think a lot of these things are a little funny, but the people that do actually vote, they hear free things like, Mamdani in New York, same thing. They hear free things about free buses and then come to find out that's not going to happen. And, it's like the free ketchup in the lunchroom. It's like you're running for school president. It's just saying a whole bunch of stupid stuff just to get people on your side. And then once you get in, you're in. And in these positions, you can be there for quite some time. And you can kind of put all these executive orders out there that'll kind of like streamline your power and allow you to do anything you want almost, within reason, of course. She also has the majority in the state legislature. Yeah, and she's going to use it for sure. There's I have a list here. So here's a few of the bills that they've introduced now that they control the legislature and governor's office in Virginia. New 4.3% sales tax on Uber Eats, Amazon, etc. deliveries. New sales tax on emissions to a wide variety of businesses. Create 2 new higher tax brackets of 8% and 10% on people making over 600K. A new 10% tax bracket for anyone making over $1 million. 3.8% investment tax on top of state income tax. Raise the hotel tax. New personal property tax on landscaping equipment. Brian was telling me about this earlier. If like you use gas-powered lawn equipment, you're going to have like these, ban gas-powered leaf blowers. Guarantee illegal aliens free education. Make it illegal to approach somebody at an abortion clinic. To approach somebody. Extend the time absentee ballots can be received after election day to 3 days. Allow people to cast their votes electronically through the internet. Expand ranked choice voting.
Through their internet?
So this they get in under false pretenses, false advertising, and then bam, they boom all of this stuff that will allow them to continue on and continue to get elected. Extend the deadline for ballot curing to 1 week after election day. Redact the addresses of political candidates from the FOIAs. Add Virginia to the National Popular Vote Compact for presidential electors. Make it illegal to hand count ballots. $500 sale tax on firearm suppressors. Assault weapons and large capacity magazine ban. 11% sales tax on all fire. This is in Virginia, just, 11% sales tax on all firearms and ammunition. Prohibit outdoor shooting of a firearm on land less than 5 acres. Lower the criminal penalties for robbery. Ban. Okay, the mixture of all of this stuff. Are you getting the picture? Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. Remove mandatory. I'm getting the chills, bro. Remove mandatory minimum sentences. Allow localities to install speed cameras. Replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day.
I wonder if the people that voted for her know that those were the policies that she was going to kick it, like, because obviously, any of the, even the taxes on like Uber Eats and all that stuff, some of the like gas powered, anything that's gas powered, like all that is for her to make a dig at Trump that they're going to fix what's broken, and all that stuff is going to cost the citizens more money. Giving free education to illegals is going to cost them more money.
You think they're going to plaster all of this on the news? Do you think they're going to shout this out to everybody? It's just going to be in the laws. It's going to hit people in the pockets, and who are they going to blame?
Yeah, and then they're going to be like, "Oh no, it's not the Democrats," But I mean, come on, especially with Trump trying to fix the election system for them. Voting should be the day of, and none of this extra bullshit of we're still going to count ballots 2 weeks after the election. If your ballot didn't make it, I don't give a rat's ass if it was postmarked or not.
Hey,
if it didn't make it on election day to get counted, it doesn't count. You should have prepared better. As a matter of fact, remove all mail-in voting. Remove all mail-in voting. It's like, okay, if you're dying in your deathbed, that's a different story, but you need to prove that you are dying in your deathbed and you want to cast a vote, and maybe give them a window of early voting only for those that are extremely disabled. And there has to be a method where they get a special vote But honestly, I don't even give a fuck about them, to be honest with you. If you're
How many
able-bodied, get your ass to the bowling.
Yeah, but like how many people were like in wheelchairs, like
And
grandparents,
still
great
made it to
grandparents
vote.
made it to vote. Like it was always been this way.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever screamed and yelled about voter suppression.
No,
Um,
and then it's just the the activists that are trying to say that we like being any kind of brown, that you're too stupid to figure out, either get an ID, you're too stupid to be able to represent yourself, that you're too stupid to speak up and figure out where to go vote. We're not stupid. We're very vocal. I'm a light shade of brown, but I'm still brown. I'm Hispanic, and just the insinuation that we're too stupid to try to figure out how to get an ID or go vote, or we can't figure out how to get transportation to get to vote, is just insulting. And it's just these white liberal women that sit there and pick this as their social justice topic. They don't understand how racist they're being by implying that they have to come in and be our saviors.
right. Right.
Like we need saving because we're too stupid to realize it for ourselves. Oh, well, what would I ever do without the liberal white woman?
Let me tell you one thing real quick too before we move on. Okay, so she signed 10 executive orders. Those listing, that's proposed legislation. So it hasn't been passed yet, but listen, they got massive control and they stick together like glue. So I'm sure a lot of that stuff is going to pass within reason of the constitution of that state and things like that. I'm not fully versed on, but the executive order, the number 10, it's the rescission of executive order number 47. That was in the article, which encouraged required law enforcement to devote resources toward federal civil immigration enforcement, arguing public safety should focus on core policing functions. Well, if you didn't defund the police constantly over and over again, you wouldn't have to worry about being so low on resources. But you should also be worried about the public safety of the people that we're trying to take out. But I'm preaching to the choir. But the other part of this is let me see, it's the establishing, this is executive order number 5 that she passed, establishing an economic resiliency task force for Virginia. What it does is creates an economic resiliency task force to coordinate response to federal workforce reductions, funding cuts, tariffs, and immigration impacts, plus assessing federal funding losses and recommending mitigation measures. So that is put in place, in my opinion, to offset losing federal funding, because they're going to be going against ICE agents, because they're going to be probably trying to push, again, women and children's women and men and women's sports and all these other kind of things that Trump has put executive orders down. People have tried to pass. They're not planning to follow the federal laws at all. This is what I'm looking at, and that's why she's trying to create a whole task force. God only knows it's probably what all that other proposed legislation is about, all these taxes and everything. That's their economic resiliency. That's what they're doing. They're going to be taxing people up the wazoo in order to offset not getting federal funds, because they much rather give free education to illegal immigrants that are their voting base, allegedly, rather than follow the law. So there's a lot of really funny things, and they're ready to go. As soon as they get sworn in, they have all of this stuff ready to go. So may the force be with you, Virginia. This is really crappy.
Y'all fucked.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. I feel sorry for you.
No, I mean, listen, I expect that kind of thing in New York, but in Virginia, like, wow.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So sad, man. It's so crazy. But nothing's happened, because we're, Thune and Johnson, are they actually going to pass some voter ID laws? Are we going to get anything?
I don't know. He's a rhino. there's nothing that's going to convince me otherwise, because he's just sitting on it and he's making stuff up and just giving
A
excuses.
lot of people were upset when he was proposed as the Senate Majority Leader, and
Yeah, they were pissed.
Yeah, and now we see why. He's stalling everything. But all right, so why don't we go to the next story? This is really, really tragic and heartbreaking, you guys. This is coming to you from NBC News. At least 40 dead, dozens injured after high-speed trains collide in Spain. A high-speed train collision killed at least 40 people, Spanish authorities said Monday, as they worked to piece together what may have led to the deadly crash. The tail end of an evening train traveling from Malaga to Madrid with some 300 passengers went off the rails near Cordoba at 7:45 p.m. local time, officials said. It slammed into a train traveling from Madrid to Huelva, another southern Spanish city, according to rail operator Adif. Spain's Civil Guard updated the death toll to at least 39 early Monday. It told NBC News that the national protocol for responding to mass casualty incidents had been activated, and that its personnel, including experts in fingerprinting and DNA analysis, were joining the effort to identify the victims. The nationalities of the victims are still unknown. Andalusia's regional president, Juanma Moreno, said 75 passengers were hospitalized, including 15 in very serious condition. The region was heartbroken, he added in a statement on X. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez promised a thorough and absolutely transparent investigation into the crash at the news conference in Ademuz, where many locals helped emergency services handle the influx of passengers overnight. Quote, "Today is a day of pain for all of Spain," he added. Earlier, his office said that he would not travel to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, which started today. Adif, which manages Spain's state-owned railway infrastructure, said high-speed rail services between Madrid and a number of cities in Andalusia would be suspended Monday in the aftermath of the collision. And now we actually, look at these photos. I mean, these photos are just terrible. And you could see, like, just kind of like the derailed train carriage down at the bottom. But I did actually also find another article, because I watched a couple of videos and I heard them mentioning this. So from the Telegraph, it says experts investigating the cause of the train crash in Spain that killed 40 people have found a broken joint on the rails. The tail end of a train heading from Malaga to Madrid derailed at 7:45 p.m. on Sunday, smashing into an oncoming train traveling from the capital of Huelva. Investigators at the scene identified some wear on the joint between sections of the rail known as a fish plate, which they said showed the fault had been there for some time. A source briefed on the investigators told Reuters. They found that the faulty joint created a gap between the rail sections that widen as trains continued to travel along the track, which was renovated. The track was renovated in May as part of a £700 million project. Technicians believe the faulty joint is key to identifying the precise cause of the high-speed crash. So it looks like, they are looking into it. And they also said that I believe it was the Spanish president, he said that the collision happened about 20 seconds after the derailment. So they kind of ruled out human error, that like 20 seconds, like what do you do? You're off the track. How do you even recover? Like he didn't even have time to press the emergency brake to stop it.
Yeah, even if they had put the emergency brake, though, it's not immediate. It
Right.
takes a lot of like track for it to stop, or whatever. I don't know how to put it, but it takes a lot of time. They don't just immediately stop.
Yeah, the inertia of the it's like it has to all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is really, really sad to hear. I'm telling you, all of these like different train. I used to be scared every time I had to go on a plane. Now I don't even want to go on trains. And it's not even just like you're worried about who's driving the train. It's the infrastructure. Here in America too, like a lot of our infrastructure is crumbling, and you don't hear a lot about projects that are trying to rectify that situation.
I mean, and the ones that we do hear about, I mean, look at Gavin Newsom's speed rail train.
Hmm.
They,
Yeah, let's go
they're clearly not very good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hack all of it.
Oh,
But
no.
um yeah, I mean I sending just a lot of thoughts and prayers to the families as always. I mean, like it's really sad. It's really sad and they must have been so terrified.
Yeah, we don't have any train. Like, I've never been on a train. I know that, since you live in such an urban area, it's something that's widely used, the subway and all that. But I honestly, I think I'd genuinely be terrified just because, like you said, the infrastructure is crumbling. They haven't invested any money into fixing, maybe just Mickey Mousing stuff and putting a Band-Aid on stuff. And so, and then even not even that, just even with all the crime and like, say you fall asleep for a second and someone sets you on fire, like, I don't know, nothing about it seems appealing to go on any of the trains. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't
I
know.
feel bad for people that are and they raised in New York. They haven't fixed anything. They raised the price. Like I remember I told you about what Mandami was saying with the free ketchup and
Yeah,
all
that is gonna be free.
glasses. Yeah, it went up $3. Free.
Oh wow! So what was it before?
I don't even know. I just know it went up $3. I haven't used mass transit in a minute. I think it might have been $3 and now it's $6, but I don't quote me on that. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean you're basically going into a death trap. And a lot of people
Yeah,
they can't afford it. I mean, people work in Manhattan. You can't really drive in there. I mean, if you have a car, you can, but where do you park? Then you have to pay for parking. You can take the express bus, but that's also costs a lot of money. So most people have it in their budget. They have to take these trains, and it's really disgusting that they haven't cleaned it up. They worried about toll jumpers, so they created like these plastic things where you can't like jump over it, but there was people they were crawling underneath it. But instead of putting those plexiglass things there to worry about like the money coming into the MTA, maybe they should put plexiglass in front of the trains and then just have them only open when the train gets there, so that way you don't have people getting pushed onto the tracks. But they don't care.
Wow.
All right. So, I mean, like I said, we'll just sending prayers to everybody there. That's really, really sad. And if there's anything more that comes up that's substantial, we'll definitely keep you guys updated. But do you want to take us to a little trip to Miami and tell us what's going on there? This is good
You
for
can.
integrity and all of this stuff.
So this is from local10.com. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to read this one better. So this is America, right? Critic of Miami Beach mayor gets police visit over Facebook comment. It's an intimidation tactic, she says. Sure. So Miami Beach, Florida, a Miami Beach political activist got an unexpected knock on her door Monday over a comment she made about Mayor Stephen Maynor on Facebook. I hope I said that right. Okay. So Raquel, there you go, Raquel Pacheco, a local activist and veteran who once ran for city commission and as a Democratic state Senate candidate, said she was stunned when Miami Beach detectives knocked on her door on Monday asking about a comment she made on one of the mayor's Facebook posts. He said, "We are here to talk to you about a Facebook comment." And I said, "What? Is this really happening?" Pacheco told Local 10 News. Pacheco had commented on a post by the mayor, who is Jewish, that proclaimed Miami Beach a safe haven for everyone, in contrast to New York City, which he claimed is intentionally removing protections for and promoting boycotts of Israeli and Jewish businesses. Pacheco wrote back, "The guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians tried to shut down a theater for showing a movie that hurt his feelings and refuses to stand up for the LGBTQ community in any way, even leaves a room when they vote on related matters, wants you to know that you're all welcome here. punctuating her post with 3 clown emojis. She recorded the brief exchange with a detective who came to speak to her about the post. Pacheco is heard asking, "Am I being charged with a crime? And so are you here to investigate a statement I allegedly made on Facebook?" She later added, "This is freedom of speech. This is America, right?" Pacheco believes what happened was not about safety, but politics. It's an intimidation tactic. The mayor knows who I am very well. He knows I am very loud, vocal activist in this community. I call into commission meetings. They know exactly who they were picking on or who they're picking on, whatever. In the video, the detective is heard saying, "We are just trying to prevent, what we are just trying to prevent is somebody else getting agitated or agreeing with the statement. We are not saying if it's true or not." So that to me is a clear indication that people are not allowed to agree with anyone but the mayor, and that is how America works. I don't agree with him, and I am going to continue to voice that. The Miami Beach spokesperson said, in light of recent national concerns regarding anti-Semitism, as a precautionary measure, intelligence unit detectives conducted a brief consensual encounter to ensure there was no immediate threat to safety of the elected official or the community. When they wrote our Constitution, the founding fathers wanted people to be able to voice their opinions. Legal analyst David Weston said, that's not entirely correct, but okay. It comes amid national conversation about censorship and free speech in America. Take the recent brief suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Okay, you know what? We can skip all that. That's all retarded. So what they don't like, they loved it when police were trying to arrest conservatives. They wanted us all locked up and to be sent to indoctrination camps. So, but now they're getting a taste of their own medicine and they don't like it. Now it's free speech. Now all of a sudden they love free speech. So
yeah, I mean, no, I totally agree with that. But on the flip side, even though I don't align myself with her views, I think that this is dangerous territory. I don't want to become the UK. I don't like this. Because she didn't incite violence. She didn't threaten.
Her comment was pretty weak. I want to say that because maybe because it had the word death in it. I don't think it really had a whole lot of buzzwords in it. That's not, it's typical of all the leftist propaganda. Oh, Palestinians, LGBTQ, stand up for blah, 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 So I don't think her comment was exceptionally, special in any kind of way for her to receive a visit.
Right.
And, it's going to open the door for shoot, if I would get a knock on the door by police or the FBI or something for something I said on Facebook, I say a whole bunch of shit.
But that's what I'm saying. This is not good. No matter, we can't get too much into the weeds of the incitement definition. Yeah. We can't continue to say, oh, well, if you get people all riled up and angry and then they go do something, now that means you're going to go to jail.
Yeah, I think that's
you're
what's
actively
alarming.
Saying, everybody come here, we're going to go to this person's house and we're not going to leave until they do what we say. And if they don't, then go to this person's house and be like, what do you mean? Why are you threatening to go to this person's place? And what are you going to do? That's different. That also kind of can get a little funny too, because unless they're actually saying we're going to go there and create harm, if you're just saying I'm going to go there and voice my opinion to a public place, that's also, not something that I think you should be sending cops for, because then it opens the doors.
Exactly. And what the detective said was, we're just trying to what we are just trying to prevent is somebody else getting agitated or agreeing with the statement. You're allowed to agree with, you're allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to be an asshole. Mm-hmm. That's all. You're allowed all of that. So yeah, her statement was stupid. And them wasting resources on sending officers out to what? I mean, the post was there. What are they going to even interview her about? That's pretty stupid.
That's
Did you
what
make the post? Was clearly she made it. What did you mean by it? Does it matter?
right.
It's out there in the ether. Like, it's pretty stupid. But yeah, that's a very dangerous precedent that they're setting, which
Mm-hmm.
opens a door for when they get into power, then they're going to come after all of us that disagree with them. Oh, you disagreed. You're posting content that people agree with that are against the government. Like, all of a sudden we're all going to become anarchists. It's not a very good
Oh, you
thing.
liked
So,
this. Oh, you bookmarked it. Oh, you shared it.
oh, you're
Yeah.
going to go to a MAGA re-education camp.
And yeah, and don't get me wrong. I believe that if the people that, like you said earlier, that they all wanted us in concentration camps and things like, they'd be totally fine with that. I don't believe that not doing this to them will stop them from doing it to us. However,
Yeah.
how are we supposed to say anything about anything if we start doing the same thing? Like, is that what we really want to do? And when we hold positions of power, like, even people, like, there's a lot of moderate people that voted Republican in the past elections because they were just like, the left just totally went haywire. This is the kind of thing that the moderates are going to be like, whoa, what? And like, I'm like the same way. Like, I'm just like, even though I don't agree with what she's saying, and I probably, even if I read more into her, maybe I would even think that she's nuts. But that doesn't give you credence to go to her door with agents. Like, that's I don't know. I don't agree with this.
Yeah.
You can't. If something happens, God forbid, from her, people, she like gets people riled up or whatever, then you go attack the person that is going to do the harm. You can't keep going backwards and saying, like, we can say, like, people need to tone down their rhetoric and stuff like that, but going after people and putting them in jail just for, speaking their mind and being passionate about it, like, no, we can't do that. We can't.
Yeah, and then you're pointing out, like, she was pointing out her perception of facts, right? That's her opinion, but you had the Krasensteins on X openly doxing, threats of violence, and they never got visits from the FBI or anything like that. But, some rando chick that has maybe a little bit of political sway, it's not a good look. And, I just don't think that's productive. And it's going to lose the moderates, because who wants to get a door for something stupid like that? Stop censoring. That is kind of intimidation tactics for speech. And I just don't think any of that. Now, if she said something violent or called for violence, that's completely different, but she did neither of those things, and they should have never done that. So
agreed. All right, before we get to the game, just like a quick little fun story, something different, is our last segment, as always. So from the Good News Network, shoes that adapt to uneven surfaces help folks with the mobility issues walk easier, now for sale online. A robotic specialist in physical therapy has unveiled the world's first shoe that can reduce friction forces and adapt to uneven surfaces, ensuring a smooth walking experience for the elderly and those dealing with multiple sclerosis and stroke rehabilitation. The breakthrough technology was developed by Dr. Tyler Susko, an engineering professor at the University of California, who realized his machine design skills could aid everyday people with mobility disorders. His new company, Cadence, has a cute name, is the first to sell modern adaptive footwear using variable friction technology to help individuals walk more safely, confidently, and independently. An estimated 40 million Americans live with some form of functional disability caused by conditions ranging from MS, Parkinson's, to drop foot, post-stroke mobility challenges. There's a quote here: Cadence bridges the gap between medical necessity and modern style, combining patented gait improving outsole technology with fashion-forward design, says Dr. Susko, who holds a PhD in engineering from MIT and now teaches at US Santa Barbara. So just to kind of like quickly, I think this is so cute, because if you think about, like, there's so many people out there with these disabilities who they could use this kind of help. I think the ingenuity, it's like ingenious. I think that's really cool. And it makes them, like, as he said, it combines the help, the aid that they need, but like with style. So like, there's always like these orthopedics and different things that, they kind of look like this big house on your foot, or they look kind of weird or whatever. And, I mean, if these, you can't even tell that they're anything for anybody with a disability. They just look like a cute sneaker. Like, I would want to buy them. They're adorable. So I think this is really great. I love hearing about stuff like this. I also looked up, because I remember when I was in fashion class in college. I took like a marketing fashion, I was under a marketing fashion degree, and I found out about Salvatore Ferragamo, the designer. He studied at the University of Southern California, which is kind of funny. He studied the anatomy of the foot to make sure that whatever he made was going to be extremely comfortable. And if you've ever, I mean, I've never, but I used to work with like a lot of people that can afford stuff like this. And they used to say all the time that it was like the most comfortable shoes ever. Like, it really formed to your foot and it gave you all the support that you need, but they were still look dainty and really fashionable. So I think that that's really, really cool.
Yeah, they are. They're very cute. I'm looking at the website right now.
Are you?
They're $200, so they're not,
I wonder
they're pricey.
By some kind of medical insurance? I mean, probably not.
Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, they are very cute. And I mean, if it really does help the way they say they do, I mean, it's worth it. It really is.
Yeah, automatically switches from glide to grip with your weight. So it helps you. Strong traction so your foot doesn't slide. I need that. I'm always falling. Helps your toe clear. Well, not these days, but I used to fall a lot. Helps your toe clear obstacles instead of catching. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, like the outside that you need for, like that balance, those outside pieces on the sole, they don't go in the front, so you don't trip. It's really good.
That's adorable. Yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah, I love it.
My foot catches a lot. I do have I trip I don't trip a lot, but like my toe catches, and I can see like the front of my shoe is like super worn on one foot, and I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, yeah, I know. I have the same issue like on the sides. I hate that. But yeah, kudos to this dude, man. Good going. All right, are you ready for the game?
Let's go. All
right, bump us, Brian. So this is Captain This, you guys. This is the game that we play at every Sunset Ranch show. At the end of the show, we have an AI generated photo. We ask you, the audience, to please participate and give us a funny caption, and then Dee and I will vote on the funniest caption to win for the night. And there is an instant win condition. So if you get close to it or you get it, it's an automatic win. So we got a drooling Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh no, was the prompt like
Derposaur?
I was gonna say, was the prompt like was it like thirsty dino, like horny dino or something? Why is it salivating like that?
Oh man, we should have used them for Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. Tiny stuff. Oh wait, I got one. Okay.
I don't know. I'm bad. I'm like, I don't think mine's are like appropriate to put on a t-shirt. But I think that's like just what like your predator, because obviously that's a predator, right? But like certain predators that have certain fascination with like, you know, underage, you know, that's how they probably look at their victims. And I just made everything really depressing.
Do you see like his little ears? It's like hippo ears.
You know, who knows? Who knows if like they really did. Like they're all like supposedly with like evolution and everything. We're all kind of connected, right? Like we could have kind of features, like kind of like how gorillas have like hands like us and stuff. But whatever. Who knows? Maybe they did have hippo ears.
Yeah, like we don't. How do we even know? Like some appendages don't have like all the bones and stuff like that going, so we don't know what the skin really looked like.
Yeah, we're basically just guessing.
Scientific.
All right, so let's see.
Guess. Have a yabba dabba do time.
Derposaurus.
Squirrel. Are they snow worthy? That's a good question. I wonder. You know, when I used to work in Manhattan, there was like, I forgot what year it was. Maybe it was like 2014, 2015, where it was like we were getting like a ton of snow. And for some reason, like a lot of the stores were really dragging their feet on you know, taking the snow away. So I went into LL Bean and I bought those things that you use when you're trying to climb a mountain. It's like spikes that you put on.
Oh, yeah.
So for a while I was like walking into work and it was like until I took them off because I was falling. One time I fell and this old man came over to me and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, this is crazy. This was so long ago. I was still fairly young and I'm just like, this old man is helping me up off the floor. This is so sad. All right, so right now, Derposaurus and Squirrel are at the top, I think. Don't forget the gravy.
It should be something like, "Are you going to eat that?"
Oh, that's cute.
Mine.
Are you going to finish all your fries? Yeah, Hardy, like, subscribe, and comment. Maybe just give it like another minute. I put one in there. Dinosaur stumbles upon caveman trying to invent fire. Like he burnt himself, so now he's like cooked.
You cooked.
What you doing there, bud? What's that smell?
Oh.
I don't know. Gosh, sometimes this is so hard. I like Derposaurus too. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
All right.
The
so
derp.
The derp. Yeah. So congratulations, Rebel. Derposaurus is the caption winner. Good job. Good job. But yes, thank you guys so much as always for hanging out with us. You know, I hope you had a wonderful Monday, have a wonderful evening. Don't forget tomorrow, Sunset Rants, the same time, same place, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Don't forget to share the show with your friends, but just hanging out with us, liking. Don't forget to like the video on the way out. Push us through that algorithm that suppresses, you know, one's trying to get up there. And if you want to go to our website, riseinmiddleamerica.com, you can go to that Q&R code at the top of the screen. It'll take you right there. All our socials there, the Discord if you'd like to join. You can also get our merch there. You can support the channel. There's many ways you can do that. So go check out our website. And again, any final thoughts, Dee?
Well, not really. Just, yeah, you know, always hearing just all the crazy stuff that's going on all around the world and in our country. Just, but you know what? We still got to stay focused and keep living life
Yes.
Because it's going on around us. You know, it's not just the politics and the negativity and all that stuff. And we got to focus on ourselves and getting ourselves to a good place. And remember, you know, to try to stay happy and focus on that to get us through everything. You know, love on your family, love on your friends, and stay positive, you know.
Amen. Look inward, you know, try to better yourself. Don't, you know, don't always try to, you know, worry about everything else that's going on 24/7. It's just too much. Let go and let God sometimes. Let him handle it. You know,
No, don't go cray cray. You'll go cray cray with that. Just, you know, chillax.
yes. Yes. Ooh, I can't rub my ear.
Or whatever it was.
Yes. Goose Rava. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, you guys. Love you all. Have a great evening. We'll see you Wednesday. Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.